Nora, how are you?
Good. I feel like we were just together not too
That's
long
right,
ago.
we were.
I know.
We had an exciting weekend in Dallas, Texas,
Yeah.
visiting our family and getting a chance to see each other. And, we did a good job of just living in the moment and no expectations. We just had fun, fun, fun.
I agree. I was even thinking about it today, and it was just so relaxing to be around, family, number one. Number two, that everybody was just very positive and just like you said, in the present moment.
Yeah.
And, we just kind of went with it. Whatever was next, okay, let's do it. And I had a wonderful time. So
No, I think it's really important too because I think, especially with the holidays coming up, I think a lot of people sometimes struggle with seeing family members at the holidays. And, maybe you have that opinionated brother or father-in-law or something, like that.
mhm.
Um, but if you take the days and just appreciate the moment and try to, just live in that moment and enjoy it and have no expectations and which is kind of the gist of this chapter too, talking about just detaching from what you think it should be or should have been or could be, and just living in that moment. So,
Right.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. It went by too fast though.
I know it did went, but it would. I mean, it just seemed like I flew there Thursday night, and then it's like Sunday. I was back here on the sofa watching, the game, the football game, and I was like, boy, did I go anywhere? Did I go to Dallas? It was like so quick. I mean, it's like we needed more time, but you know what? I was so tired when I got home because I think we pretty much went nonstop,
We
and
did.
we were wake up early and get going early, and then of course we sat around and chatted until 1 in the morning every night, so it
Right.
was just such a good time.
That's right. And then I have the time change since I'm an hour ahead of you guys. I'm
Right.
Eastern time, you're Central.
That's
So every
right.
night we stayed up to 1, it felt like 2 o'clock my time. So
I hadn't thought about that. That's
I
true
was
for
pretty
you.
tired. Yeah,
Yes.
we had a really fun birthday theme we did for my sister. We did breakfast at Tiffany's theme. So we were dressed like Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's, and it was fun. We got a lot of attention. People asking what we were doing, and
Yeah.
basically we're like, we're just having fun. We're just having a
Yeah.
fun day and taking it
Yes.
as far as we could. And
Exactly. And I have to admit that at first I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be kind of weird walking around. But then after a while, I got so used to it, and it was just fun. And
yeah,
walked over to the coffee shop, and then came back, and then walked over here, and then we went to a restaurant, and we were still dressed that way, and we had such a good time. So it was wonderful.
yeah, I think it's again, the book has been so enlightening that, not to be so much wrapped up with your ego and thinking about, oh, what other people think and how
Mhm.
does that make me feel? And, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm a grown woman.
Yeah.
Just being in the moment. And it
Yeah.
was getting ready to go and do that. And it was fun being dressed like that and just knowing that it was special and it's a good memory. I did see something online yesterday and it said something like, yeah, spend the money to go and travel and to get those experiences. Those memories are priceless. And I felt like that's so true.
I agree 100%. 100%. But we are on chapter 8, I believe.
You're on
Correct
chapter
me
8.
if I'm wrong. I think we are on
I
chapter
agree.
8. And what stood
Yeah.
out to me, and I know we had kind of briefly touched on this already, just the two of us, was, the king that just had so much money is what he's talking about. Just like anybody else who has so much money, and you just figure somebody that has that much wealth is just so happy in their life. But this king was not happy. So he went to a wise man, and said, hey, tell me, what am I doing wrong? What can I do? I want to be happy like you. Because the wise man, he didn't really say, but I'm just assuming that didn't have the wealth that this king did. So he said, okay, no problem. Let me think about it. I'll get back to you. Right. So then he comes back with just a little ornate little box. I'm in my mind, I picture just a wooden box, but I think it had jewels on it or something. Right. And he brings that back. And when the king opens it, inside the box, there's a little ring. And I don't know if it was on the inside or the outside of the ring, but it does say, this too will pass, or this too shall pass, something like that.
This too
And
will pass.
so, yes. And so, it was to remind him that when you're having a bad day, just kind of look at the ring or touch the ring, and this too shall pass. Tomorrow's another day. But then at the same time, he also says, if you're having, if things are going so well for you, also keep in mind to look at the ring, because this too shall pass. And that part I kind of did. I was like, no, I don't like that part, but so
Oh, it's
true,
true. Yeah.
So it kind of does tell you, live in the moment, enjoy it, because, just like we were all together in Dallas with family and having such a wonderful time, but this too shall pass. And now we're each back. You're, in Georgia, I'm in Texas, and, just wherever we went. So yeah, this too shall pass. So
Well, the moral of the story was it's about detaching, the forming the detachment with things and situations, and that leads to inner space. And so that was really the gist of the chapter. It's another dimension, he calls it inner space, which later then he says comes with stillness and peace. And he said, this is the peace of God,
yes,
basically. So
once you let
basically,
go.
once you let go of positive or negative experience and just live
Hmm.
in the moment, um,
Hmm.
that it leads to better things. And he said all self-created suffering comes to an end as well when you live this way. So I think that's pretty significant too, like understanding that that detachment of releasing good and bad just means that you're living in the present moment and not worrying about the good or the bad. Um, and I understand the stillness and the peace of any situation calms you down, puts a
Yes.
better perspective on what you're going through. Uh,
Hmm.
but I think we were living in that moment of just not worrying about,
Hmm.
how long it was
Hmm.
going to last or when we had to get
Right.
back to our flight home and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
No, and I mean, he's absolutely right. If you just live in the present and you just don't worry about things, you just don't worry about those things. And to me, it's interesting because I think as I get older, I'm doing away with more and more things, if you will. Like when I was younger, it was like, oh, I have to have this thing. If I had this particular thing, I would be happy, or I would, I see my neighbors, whatever they had. And then I'm thinking, oh, I need that. But now at this age, at 63, I'm like, no, that really is not going to make me any happier. If I'm going to spend X amount of money on something, what for? I'm still, still happy, still okay. So, yeah,
Mm.
but I think we kind of evolve into that. And I think he kind of talks about that inner space. So letting go of all those things. I'm not saying give away all your goods and things like that, but just not feeling like those things make you happy. Just being happy with your inner self, with your space that you have, which is God inside, and just being positive and moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, the book has kind of led up to this, and it goes on further too. But basically, as we've talked about releasing our ego and trying to step aside from our ego, that goes exactly in line with what you're saying. Just realizing what's important and what's not important, and it talked a lot about, just capturing your quietness, even quietness between your words,
Mm-hmm.
just putting less thought into having to say the perfect thing or the right
Right.
thing, just
Mm-hmm.
kind of living in that moment. So
Yeah. And you know what? When you do that, it's like your stress level just goes down.
that's
Or at
true.
least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you just relax and, like be yourself, and you're not worried about trying to say the right thing or do the right thing, you relax, and then all of a sudden your stress level, that stress needle just goes all the way down, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm good.
I was thinking about that today at lunch because there was a large group of us that went out to lunch for my vice president's who I report to her birthday. And the luncheon was fine, but then, when they do that, let's go around the table and say something, share something that nobody knows about you. And immediately I'm starting to think like, okay, I'm not even listening to what some people are saying because I'm trying to think of my example. And I would be honest that used to give me anxiety because I'd think, what am I going to share? What do I want to share? Let me think. And then by the time they get to you, you're kind of nervous because everyone's watching you as you say something. And this time I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to share an experience that I had and be happy with sharing that. It didn't have to, because I could see like as people said their experiences or
Mhm,
their surprise, whatever.
mhm.
Uh, I'm not saying they were trying to top each other, but they were trying to
Yeah,
give an experience that was like, well, this is more shocking. This is more of a
yeah.
surprise. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to
So
fold it.
was it like one truth and a lie, or was it just one something that you've done that nobody knows about? Okay,
Exactly. Just something
okay.
that what somebody wouldn't know about. And some of those people have worked together for many, many years. So then
Hmm.
they were stressed at trying to figure out something that nobody,
Yeah,
most people didn't know, but
right.
us that didn't know them would be like,
Yeah,
wouldn't know, at all. So no, they
yeah.
didn't do the true truths and a lie. That would be more challenging.
Yeah, I always have well, for those, I always have the answers. I already have two in my back pocket, and I always use the same ones when they say, tell us something, we don't know about you, or, or a truth and a lie, or whatever. And one of them, and you could probably use this one too, because you were there with me, is I visited Turkey. Not a lot of people say they visited Turkey. So that's one. That's
Mhm.
the one I use. And then the other one that's in my other pocket is when I went to first grade, I didn't speak English.
Mhm.
That's my other one. And people are like, what? So yeah, those are the two that I always use. So most
Okay.
people that know me probably already know those two.
Those are the truths, right? Then which lie did you use or just make something up on the spot?
I don't remember which lie I used, but those are the truths. Yeah, but since you said that you only had to say like something that they wouldn't know about you, those were two definitely that I always use. But I don't know what I used for the lie. I don't know.
I don't know. Usually some people will say something that is kind of a true story, but then they put a spin on it. Like, I've met two presidents of the United States, and then that's a lie. I've met one president of the United States. It's like, it's pretty close to the same thing, but
Yeah, that is sounds like the same thing to me too.
yeah,
Oh no. But
exactly.
anyway.
So, now I
Well,
hear the
that's good.
dogs
I'm glad you had
barking.
huh?
I hear that dog barking in the background. Did you end up talking to your neighbor?
I got chicken. Yeah, no. I
Oh,
got chickens. Have not done it, not yet. And of course,
oh
since I wasn't
no.
here, and I even mentioned it when we were, away. I said, I haven't slept this well in such a long time because I really, slept so well all the nights that we were there in Dallas because there was no doggies barking. But yes, yeah,
Oh,
they're
well,
out there.
also no dog sleeping in your bed.
And no dog sleeping in my bed. Yes. So although I did miss my two little doggies, but oh yeah, it was kind of nice to have a bed to myself. I was like, oh wow, I can stretch out.
That's right. That's right.
So
Definitely.
that was nice.
Well, good. It was a very comfortable bed. I think, honestly, I think it's because she had the air conditioning so low in her house that I don't keep mine that low here. And
Yeah.
so for me, I think it was that just cool, which is a good way to sleep. They say to have
Yeah.
that temp really low. But anyway, yeah, it
Anyway,
was nice
yes.
and
Yes.
comfortable there for
I don't
sure.
know if we've gone over our time, but we did want to touch base with everybody and say hello. Thank you for, well, no comments, but maybe
Yeah, well,
maybe this time you can give us a comment, and just tell us what you think. I do have something that I kind of want to put out there is I've got like, I don't know, for you ladies that are embracing your gray, my gray is coming out. And I'm just on the fence right now, and I'm thinking, should I embrace it and just go fully gray? Because I see, when I was at the airport, I see these ladies, and they look fabulous, with the gray hair. I think it's just the slow getting to that point. It's like when it's barely coming out and your hair is like gray and brown and, all kinds of colors. Then I
mm,
think that's what makes it kind of hard. I don't know. Maybe they just go in and dye their whole head like a grayish color. And then
maybe
this way,
so.
when it comes in,
Mhm.
then it just kind of blends all together. Maybe that's what I need to do, but I don't know if that would be too much of a shocker for me. I might freak out. Like, what?
Well, and the hard part is men look so good when their gray's growing in, that salt and pepper, George
Yeah.
Clooney look,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
that double standard because men look good and women usually just look old. But gray is very much in style now. I see a lot of
Yeah.
people rocking a
Yeah.
really pretty gray haircut.
I,
So
I
it's
think they
hard.
look great.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it's a
I look
hard
in the mirror
decision.
and just right now I'm like, oh my gosh, it's all this great. I'm thinking, am I ready? I should be ready at 63. I'm assuming, right? It's time. It's time to
I,
embrace this. I don't know.
I don't think age matters. I think it's whenever you feel like you want to be gray,
Yeah.
you can. But you know what? There's a lot of good programs out there where you can upload your face and then see what your hair will look like gray. But again, that's our ego talking
Yes,
to
that's
us.
true.
So
That's true.
it's
So
hard. You just gotta
yeah, do any
not
of
care.
you out there, have any of you out there let your hair go gray? If you
I
have,
know. How did
let
you
me
do it?
know. Let me know what to do, or if I should, if I shouldn't. And once I do it, am I going to regret it and, head for Walmart and buy some boxes of, coloring and put it back in? I don't know. We'll see.
Well, your hair actually looks really light right now. It almost looks kind of gray in the lighting that you're in right now. So,
Oh, it
um,
is gray. Yeah, if you look
no, I
close.
mean, like even the sides looks already kind of a lighter color. And that's one of the things they suggest is to go a little lighter so the gray kind of blends in more.
Mhm.
Um, I like that look. I like the color of your hair. It looks good on you.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you. Thank you.
but
Well,
I
we'll see. We'll
the
see.
good
Who knows? Maybe next week you guys will see me and I'll have a full head of gray hair.
well, that will be a big surprise if that
That would
happens.
be a surprise. Yes.
We will embrace it however you look, and that's certainly your
Very
choice.
good. Very good.
All right, well,
Um,
we'll see everybody next week, and we'll
yes.
be on chapter 9. We're just about finished with our book. We do need some comments on what book we should
Oh,
move
that's
on to
right.
next if we're going to do
Yeah.
another book. But yeah, we're moving on. Almost
Maybe
finished.
something not so deep so that everyone else will join us. But
Give us some suggestions. If you're watching today and you've not commented before, please do. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do, because Nora and I do this because we're just trying to make some new friends. So we want you to be our friend.
yeah,
And we would
yeah.
appreciate it very much if you
Give
would
us a
subscribe
thumbs up.
with a thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Okay. Bye. Take
Take
care.
care. Bye bye.
Bye.